We are live. Hi, I am Sophie Mihalko, Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, and I have with me absolutely two delicious, yummy, beautiful ladies. Hi, Cassie.
Hi.
And Tanya.
Hello.
And we're not going to have any fun today. We're not going to talk about flirting your way through life. So I have the immense pleasure of working with these two ladies to create a class in Kelowna in May. And as we were talking about the class, somebody, I think it was Cassie, mentioned the energy of flirt. No, I couldn't remember what it was.
Brought it up.
I brought it up. I brought the energy of flirting, and Cassie was like, "Oh, that sounds fun and light." And I was like, "You know, not many people have my point of view that when I create something, I actually like to create it as if I was flirting with it instead of forcing it or making it happen. I used to make it happen. I was very well known to make things happen. But I don't know about you, it's just not fun for me. Do you guys like make things happen?
No.
Right? It's like this energy of, okay, who do I have to fight and what do I have to get over so I can create something, you know? And it's just not fun for me.
And it really does have that energy of fight the whole way through.
Yeah.
Like set up that way that you have to have something to fight against.
Yeah. And a lot of people, you know, like to create that way, and that's awesome. Congratulations to those who do. But I would like my life to be a lot easier. So I looked at, okay, in Access Consciousness, there is a great tool that we give to people right away, and it's called the light and heavy. What's light is true for you, and what's heavy is a lie. And a lot of time, people have a hard time with it because they think that it's like feel good, not feel good, which actually is not. Something could feel good and be heavy, and something could not feel good and be light. But for me, light is really this sense of, hey, how are you? Which is like kind of not in your face, but much more space and possibilities. So that's what light is for me. And it always reminded me of flirting. Okay, so maybe I flirt differently than most people. I don't know. But when I flirt, it's kind of like I like to bring people to me. I don't go in their face. I don't deliver lines. And that's something when I created the Google Hangout, the first thing I realized was, oh, some people think of flirting as giving lines, right?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm like, no. That's not what we're talking about here. Because if you give a line, you've already decided of something that's going to work for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we do clearings on this hangout?
Sure. Okay, so before we do clearings, if you have never heard of the clearing statement, you can go to theclearingstatement.com and it will give you the whole explanation. But just play with us and go through it. So go ahead, Cassie.
I just could you do a clearing on just all the points of view, everything, what people thought about flirting, delivering lines, like all of that?
So what have you decided flirting looks like? And everything that is, would you please uncreate and destroy it all?
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nice, both shorts and beyond. So this is what we call a clearing, and what it does is when I ask the question, there's an energy that's raised. We don't have to put words on it. We get to uncreate and destroy it, and then we use this weird series of words, the clearing statement, to sweep the energy off and get rid of it, right? So everywhere that you have decided that flirting means delivering lines, would you please uncreate and destroy all of that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nice, both shorts and beyond. So, go ahead.
What's coming up right now is how much flirting can be a creation.
Yes, so let's talk about creation, because actually this is what the class we're going to be doing in May is all about. So what is creation? So it's not creativity. So if you don't think you're creative, that's fine. You can still do creation. Creation is really what your life is going to look like, what you're going to have in your life, what you're choosing to have. That's creation, okay? And also sometimes, I don't know about you, but I create the weather, or I create great traffic on the freeway. So it's everything that kind of affects my life or is in my life is creation. So a lot of times we let outside circumstances or other people's thoughts, points of views define what creation is going to look like for us, what it's going to take, so what resources we need, the time we need, and what it's like, you know, it's going to be first, it's going to be this level, and then it's going to be this level, and then, you know, it's like a lot of times creation has to be at a certain speed or pace. Okay, so that's all good, may work for some people, but what if you actually were so different and you did it completely differently? What if you did not need the resources that other people needed, did not need the time, and did not need to do it at the speed or pace that other people do it, right? So, flirting for me, flirting your way through life is actually using creation as the most joyful, fun, light way of being in your life. And so, for instance, there's this person in my life that I would like to see more often than I do, okay? And if I keep asking this person, hey, when do I see you? When do I see you? When do I see you? That's like being in your face. So instead, what I'll do is I will not actually say the words to that person. What I'll do is I'll be energetically, I'll be like, it'd be so much fun to hang out with this person. I wonder what we're going to do next. So like when we're not together, I guess you could use the word imagine or be in the energy of what it would be like to be with that person and to hang out with that person. And you can be sure that within 24 hours, I'll hear from that person, okay, let's hang out. So that's what I'm saying. It's not in your face, but it's really an invitation, right?
Could I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you meet someone, or there's someone that you want to spend time with, or so is it a co-creation? Or is it kind of you create it and invite them to it?
So Cassie, if I invite you to a party and I say you have to come, would you come?
If I did, I would probably be resentful.
Exactly. But if I say, oh my gosh, Cassie, I'm having this really fun event. Hey, would you like to come? Would you come now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the difference is I gave you a choice, right?
Yeah.
So an invitation is always leaving the other person a choice and making their choice absolutely not significant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether they choose to come or not, whether they choose to judge you or not, it doesn't matter. It's their choice, and it's neither right nor wrong. It's just their choice.
Yeah. And also what I'm getting is this kind of so like you were creating that, like what would we like to do? So is it almost like pulling from their universe too? Like what would they like to do when we're together? What, you know what I mean? So you're almost like co-creating it, even if they're not cognitively aware.
Yes, so they're creating the invitation for themselves. So you being in their universe and inviting them to something, they created that. That's their creation, to have you in their universe inviting them.
Okay, cool.
How you deliver the invitation is probably your choice, but the fact that you're there, that's definitely a co-creation. It's funny because we don't actually use the word co-creation a lot, but it's more like, I wonder what I would like to have. Oh, this shows up. That sounds fun. Like, okay, so yesterday I went to a networking event, which I really rarely do. I don't like going to networking events very much, but for some reason I was like, just go, right? And it was actually a very small group of people, so it was great because I could talk a lot with the founder of the networking event. and she is up to something phenomenal for online entrepreneurs. How do you say that word?
Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur.
So she's really creating something phenomenal. So I was able to get all the juicy information, and I just sent her an email and I said, I know you're not ready to launch yet, but can I please be your guinea pig? So it's like, because I get the information right away. I had no idea that going to this networking event will make me want to do that, or will create that in my universe. But I was asking for something like this in my universe. I had no idea how it was going to show up. And I was really light about it. Like, I did not have an expectation of when or how it was going to show up. And it showed up. Right?
Cool. So should we do an expectation clearing? Because I think sometimes you kind of meet someone or you go somewhere and you have so many expectations. Like, or, I mean, you go to deliver your line and you have an expectation of what's supposed to come after.
Well, let me ask you something, Cassie, because you work with bodies a lot, right? Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you are really aware. So let me ask you something. If you say something to somebody and you have an expectation on an agenda when you say that to somebody, how does your body react?
I would say contracts.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a part of the body that's going to become kind of like solid and heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So when we do expect, or when we are like, well, I'm going to say this so that it creates that, it's like, what is it? Ooh, not fun. It's not an energy that the body actually likes. So when we go in and really say something and just stay in the energy of, I wonder what that's going to create, then now the body can expand and be everything it truly can be and create as well, right? So everywhere that you are hurting your body by having expectations, separations, judgments, will you please uncreate and destroy all of it times a godzillion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and paddle, nice boy shots and beyonds. I'm a big fan of asking the body to play with me. And also this is where flirting is so much fun for me, because even energetically, I can say, hey, buddy, go talk to that person's body and tell them to come, or tell them to come and buy me a drink, or whatever it is you want to do, okay?
Oh, that's a great tool for people. How much fun could that be to play with?
Uh-huh. The first time I met my boyfriend, I remember I gave him a hug, and then a few days later, like, we were exchanging messages, and he's like, since you hugged me, my body's very relaxed. And I'm like, I wonder why. I was like, yeah, my body may be working on his body, even though we're not, like, bodies can work on each other. I mean, they prefer to work on each other while touching, but they can also work on each other without. Tanya, what do you know about all this?
What do I know? Okay, so, this is kind of funny because when this was created, this Google Hangout about flirting, I kind of went, okay, yeah, I know a lot about this, and this is what I do, but people aren't supposed to know that I know about this. And yeah, it was really funny. So it was like, wow, I have all these different points of view about, okay, living in a smaller town and like what that means. And so I did a lot of like clearing, and it's been really fun to grow with this. Hangout being the first one that I've done, and I love to lower my barriers and flirt with everybody, and I love the idea of flirting with. We mentioned flirting with like projects or things, because that's going to be a new exploration for me. To have more fun with not just bodies, not just people, but everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. You said something really cool. You said lower expectation. I mean, lower.
My
What did you say?
barriers.
Lower
Yeah.
barriers. You lower your barriers.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So it's really, really interesting to me how we actually are trained to create boundaries, right? Say, you have to set your boundaries. And when you do that, then you decide where you start and end, and you decide where other people start and end. So there can actually be no exchange with people energetically. There can be very little exchange, only the exchange that you agree to. So for everyone out there, would you be willing, like, let's just try it for one day. One day where you have no boundaries. So everything where you've decided you have to, like, well, you know, you have to be proper, or you have to, like, you know, this is where I start and finish, and this is all of that. Would you just let it go for one day and see what happens if you actually don't use that? So, like, for instance, my kids, right, they're very well known at school for giving hugs to everybody. Like, they just go and hug everybody. And people love that about them. They always tell me I have the happiest kids in school. Well, that's because I go and hug everybody. So they've seen me do it. So they just go and hug. So yeah, Tanya, if there was one thing you could give people who are like, yeah, I would love to lower my barriers, but I really don't think like you said, oh, but people are going to see me. They're going to see actually me. What would you say to these people?
Well, I would want to teach the trick about the clearing statement, because that's really what worked for me, was to POC and POD all of those points of view that came up that I had awareness about, and to change it using the clearing statement. Yeah.
Awesome. So
it's just created so much change for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way you can use the clearing statement would be everything that brings up, good and bad, right and wrong, POC and POD, or nights, post, shirts, and beyond. You don't have to do anything more fancy than that. Or even everything that brings up, POC and POD. Even that works. Yeah. We do have a question right now, actually, that comes from something we talked about earlier. This person says, I have a Toastmaster speech contest today, and I have an expectation to win. So thank you. Please do a clearing. So, Jackie, just for you, would you be willing to flirt with the audience that's going to listen to you during your speech? How fun would that be? So everywhere you've decided that because it's a Toastmaster speech contest, it has to look a certain way or sound a certain way, would you please uncreate and destroy all of that times a godzillion? Good and bad, right and wrong, POC and POD, on as post, shirts, and beyonds. And also, everywhere you have made winning significant and important, would you please uncreate and destroy all of that times a godzillion? Good and bad, right and wrong, POC and POD, on as post, shirts, and beyond. And what have you made so vital about being a good speaker? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you please uncreate and destroy it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, on as post, shirts, and beyond. Okay, that's interesting. Woo! A lot of people don't think they're good speakers, huh?
I actually, if we have questions, if we're doing questions, I have a few questions. Talking about a good speaker. Sorry, I'm echoing. So this particular woman, she's really, really nervous.
Okay.
The guy, and then if there's eye contact made, that's when it's like shut down. Like she can't talk. Like it's just everything too intense for her.
Okay. Are you? Is she live, or is this just something she wrote?
She sent it in.
Okay. So the first thing I would ask is, what have you made so vital about somebody seeing you and truly you, and everything that is times the goddamn will you and create and destroy it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, fuck, pardon, nice, bullshit, and beyond. So what does that mean to make eye contact? Like, what does that mean to you? So for instance, some religions, you know, you can only see through the eyes, right? So the eyes are like the windows to everything. So it's the only mean of communicating. And then in some other culture, it's like until you connect with the eyes, you're not really connected to that person or something. So there's so many points of views about the eyes. There were poems written about eyes. There are books and all of this. So everything that is times the gods, will you please and create and destroy it all? Whatever, good, bad, fuck and pardon, nice, bullshit, and beyond. And also, what capacities do you have that you're not acknowledging, that if you acknowledge them, will allow you to have all of you? And everything that is times the gods, will you and create and destroy it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, fuck and pardon, nice, bullshit, and beyond. Sometimes, okay, so get this, right? In relationships, it's actually pretty easy to know right away how far that relationship could go. Basically, you meet somebody, you see them, and you're like, yep, this will be a great friend, this will be your lover for 6 months, they will be my soulmate. It's actually pretty easy within the first few months, the first few moments to figure it out. Like, you get the energy of it, right? For women, so let's be honest, a lot of men, not all, but a lot of men want to have sex with you, right? They want to have sex with women. So they look at women as sexual objects. Or so for some women who have made that significant, oh my gosh, he just wants me for my body, or, oh my gosh, he just wants to have sex with me. So for those women, yeah, if you look at a man truly in the eyes, and that's what you perceive, because, by the way, you're much more aware than you think you are. If that's what you perceive, then you're probably correct, right? Does that mean that you have to change who you be because of that? Not at all. And I think as a woman, that's probably the challenging part is, my dad was a very strong personality, so I was taught to follow my dad and follow what my dad says. And even today, like, I very rarely make a big decision in my life without talking to my dad about it, but it's fine. But when you flirt and when you connect with somebody on a romantic level, if you actually let the other person, and this is valid both for, men toward women and women toward men, or same sex, if you let the other person's point of view be more important or more significant than your way of being, that's where you shut down. That's where you get screwed, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I go too far?
No, not at all. What's sort of coming up for me now is I'm going to this next with all creation. Like you talk about that connection or that exchange of energy with project or with a coworker, like with the audience. Like what is I'll stop talking a bit more like that.
Yeah, this actually reminds me a lot of the difference between opportunity and possibility. So, we've been trying to look for opportunities in life, and we make opportunities very significant. Oh, well, it's a great opportunity, I have to take it. And can you imagine the amount of judgment there is there? So if you don't take this opportunity, oh my gosh, then how crazy are you for not taking this opportunity? So what if instead you looked for possibilities, not opportunities? If it's an opportunity, it's going to be actually very limited in what it can offer. If it's a possibility, that's when the flirtation can actually start, because then now you can be like, okay, what's possible here with this? What's possible with this person? What's possible with this project? That's when it gets fun.
Yeah.
But if so I think also even like in romantic relationships, if you look at the other person as an opportunity, yuck, right? It's like, oh, you've already decided that this person is going to do this for you, this for you, this for you. And nobody, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be in a relationship like that. So yeah, for me, flirting with a project, for instance, is being constantly in the question of what's possible with that project. So, you know, like if you look at a book, for instance, have a conversation with the book. Hey, book, what would you like me to write about today? Which part? The beginning, the middle, the end? What information do I require? Where do I need to go? Whatever it is, like ask the book what it needs from you in this 10 seconds and see what shows up. Does that help, Cassie?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a different space to be in when you're kind of asking what's possible here, what's possible with this project, or what's possible with this person, rather than, okay, so what do I require to do? What do they require to do? Like that.
Yeah. Tanya, you're a musician, right? And do you compose music?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a singer-songwriter.
Nice. So when you compose or write a song, do you consider the piece of music or the song an entity, or how do you work with that?
Yeah, now I do. Before Access, it was quite different. It was emotions would come up, and that was how I dealt with them. Was just sitting at the piano and kind of struggling a little bit. Now I don't force it. It's when I feel sort of a pull to the keyboard, and I'll sit and it'll just kind of come. So it's definitely an entity. I look at it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, and asking questions.
Yeah. So when you ask a question to the piece of music or the song, instead of saying, "I would like it to say this," "I would like it to be like that," I mean, is there a difference in energy when you ask the question versus already deciding what it's going to be doing or feeling?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And you can see the evolution actually because of the writing. I started before, 20 years ago or something, even more. And I've been playing with those older songs and asking them, so what do you want to sound like today? And the language is changing, and they're becoming more playful, and they're sounding more playful. Yeah. So instead of me kind of hiding them away, this is where I was at. That was ugly. I don't want to look at it. Oh well, how can I actually have fun with this and create something even greater? Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And Cassie, I wanted to go back to that person who said that they were having a difficult time after locking in with the eyes. One thing I realized, and I would like all women out there to just acknowledge that for a second, is how much control do you actually have that you're not acknowledging you have in relationships or with men. So when this woman starts locking eyes with somebody else, what happens after is going to direct the interaction. So for instance, if she looks away, the guy probably is not going to do anything. If she holds the look, then that's when the guy may actually come and talk to her, right? She is in control. So how much the not wanting to look at somebody, or the freaking out if you start looking at somebody, how much of that is actually control? And everywhere that you have decided you need to control your relationships, will you please and create and destroy all of that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Good and bad, right and wrong, pas and pardon, nice, pas, chouette, c'est bien. Because can you imagine, if you have to control your relationships, then you're actually going to control you as well. And I don't know about you, but I like to be out of control. Yeah, baby!
It's a bit more fun to be out of control.
Like Cassie's hair. Look at Cassie. Somebody just commented on your hair, Cassie, so I have to tell you, they say, very, very cool.
Thank you. Well, it's interesting that you say that, because our other questions are, so how do I walk? What do I say? It is actually very control. Like, she wants to know the thing to say, the way to look, the way to walk. Yeah, it's very contractive, actually. It's very like, I want to do right.
Yeah, but if you do that, okay, so if you it's so funny, I'm getting so much information with all of this, but if you start deciding like, okay, so if I walk like this, then it's going to create that, then you're preventing all the ways that you could enjoy somebody just by being relaxed, by being you. So if you already decide, if you do it that way, then it's going to create that, then how can you ever be you with that person? Right? It's
yeah.
You know, I've had children, so my body looks very different now than it did like before my children, let's just say. And the first time I was naked with my boyfriend, I remember like the lights were on, and the first thing I did is I put the blanket over my belly, you know, because I was uncomfortable, and he didn't say anything the day of. But man, I heard about it after that. He's like, don't you ever hide yourself from me. And I realized that how many times have we decided, okay, you know, I don't look good today, so I'm going to put makeup on, or this black dress makes me look more slim and all of that. But actually, we are preventing others from enjoying all of us. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Mm-hmm. And when we do that, we actually give permission to others to be themselves completely. Right? So everywhere that you've decided that flirting means walking a certain way, talking a certain way, looking at people a certain way, would you please uncreate and destroy all of that times a gazillion?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pas and pardon, nice, pas, chouette, c'est bien. For me, flirting is simply saying and being and doing what you want to say, be, and do in the moment.
Yeah.
Without thinking about it, just being it. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so a personal thing for me, if I can bring that up, is I used to be like the biggest flirt in high school. Like, and not just even, well, I thought it was girls, boys, it didn't matter. I just liked period, across the board. And definitely was made really, really wrong for that. So I've noticed, like, I've slowly been like, oh, don't be too much, and don't put too much, and inappropriate comes up, like going out of the question of like the wrongness. So clear me.
Cassie, how much do you love being inappropriate?
No.
Come on, girl.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Look at your freaking hair. So you mean people have been acknowledging you this whole time and you've been rejecting the acknowledgement?
Thank you. Oh my God. Cool.
I love it. A lot of times people make themselves wrong for what's actually right about them, right? So yeah, you probably were a big flirt, and yeah, you probably were inappropriate, and they were simply acknowledging what you were. But if you did it, it's because it worked for you.
Yeah.
There's actually nothing to clear because it was a choice that worked for you, darling. And the fact that she's laughing so much means it's probably very light for her, right?
I never looked at it that way.
I know.
Thank you.
All my clients, when they do sessions with me, they say, we call you for one thing, and then it always goes somewhere else. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to my world.
So I wonder how I could use that to my advantage.
Well, you already are.
Okay.
So just increase it. Increase the volume on it.
Okay.
So for everyone out there, instead of trying to fix what doesn't work, would you be willing to look at what works and actually do more of that, increase the volume on that, put more energy into that, and see what happens to the things that don't work? Yeah?
Yeah.
Because if you start focusing or paying more attention to the things that don't work, you're actually going to create more of that. If you be more of you, then you get to have more of you.
So class is not going to be any fun when you come to Florida.
Oh gosh, no.
Excited at all.
I'm no fun. I'm no fun. What else? What else could we say about flirting? So, okay, so there's this woman that I've learned a lot from. She actually does a lot of access classes, and she's always smiling, and she always has the kindest words for people. And she used to drive me crazy. It was like she could get anything she wanted. Like she would go to a bar, she would get free drinks and free food and upgrade to first class. And I was like, how does she do that? And I realized her kindness and her being like overly nice, I mean, what I would have called overly nice, actually, she is really nice. But just being so nice and so kind and so sweet gave people the awareness of their kindness and their sweetness and their sweetness. So it gave them so much of that. Of course, they wanted to be nice to her. Do you know what I mean? It was like revealing in them their own capacities to be sweet and nice and kind. So when you do that, when you flirt with somebody and you bring joy and you bring laughter, you're actually allowing these people to be that energy with you. You're being the invitation for them to have that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's really cool. So if you really want to change the world, like our dear friend Dr. Dane here says, just be you! Even more, you know, one day Dane was hugging me, and I'm not a big long hugger. Like I don't hug Dane for like very long. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. But he would not let go of me, and he was like, more. I was like, why does he want to hug more? I was so confused because he knows me. He knows I don't hug very long, and he was like, more. And then I got that he was trying to like give me to be more energetically. He was not trying to hug me more. He was kind of like telling me, be more. You know, it's all about being with him. So it was just like, just be more. And when I got that, I was like, oh, okay, that I can do. That's fun for me. So
that is what people are missing with flirting.
Yes.
Instead of finding the right steps or the right things to say or to do or to be.
Yeah, there's no fun for me in trying to figure out what's right, like how to do it the right way. I mean, it's so much more fun to kind of like mess up a little bit and discover new ways of doing things, and be the artist you be, even when you're flirting. Like, draw a new picture with flirting that people have never seen before.
Oh, that's so true. Because, like,
right?
Sometimes you meet people and they're really hard to flirt with. It's like a good chat. And then pull it out. It is like artistry.
It really is. Imagine you're the artist in your life, and you're going to find canvases that have already stuff on it, and you're going to find canvases that you have to actually finish before you can start painting on them. And there's like so much that you can create and play with, but you don't know what the picture is going to look like yet.
Can you talk a bit about so when we approach somebody and we are being our flirty self, and they're just so shut off from it? What people can ask to not get caught in that judgment, or not to stop being who they be because that other person is just so blocked off.
Yeah, I'm actually going to give people a piece of information that may not make them very happy, but that's okay. The truth is, nobody cares about you. Nobody actually cares what you think at all. They only care about what they think, and if they're shut off, it absolutely has nothing to do with you. I'm sorry to tell you, has nothing to do with you. So you don't get to make yourself wrong for it, because it has nothing to do with you, right? It's them. It's like they're deciding to shut up. That's it. So that's the first piece. The second piece is when somebody shut off, I actually leave them alone, like in the sense of like I don't necessarily talk to them or make eye contact, but I do pull a lot of energy. So this is something we actually learn in Right Voice for You and the class I'll be doing in Kelowna. So it's what you do is there's energy everywhere in the universe. So you pull this energy massively through the person that is in front of you that you'd like to interact with, through them, and then through you and out. And it's a flow of energy, right? And you're going to do that like lots and lots of energy. So it's not your energy, it's the universal energy that you're putting through them and then out through you. What that will eventually create is a heart-to-heart connection that you don't have to do anything to create. It's an energy, it's a heart-to-heart connection. Even if the person does not say a thing, when you start feeling that heart-to-heart connection, they are connected with you. So now you have a choice. Now you can actually either send a trickle of energy back to them, so basically massive amount of energy going through them, and then your own energy can go back to them, just kind of like a gentle poke, and see if like maybe they open up or something like that. Or you can say hi. That's it. Just hi. Like really simple things, right? After you do the heart-to-heart connection. Because people that are shut off are simply people who are like aware, so much aware of everything, and they don't know what to do with that awareness. So imagine if you let them know that you see them and it's okay, and whatever they choose, it's okay with you. So if you don't make them wrong for it and don't make yourself wrong for it, that's probably the first time they'll be around somebody who has allowance for it. And that's a pretty cool gift. Yeah. Does that help, Tanya?
That's awesome. Yeah.
So really, that pulling on, which we'll probably get into those kind of techniques and stuff in class more. Yeah, and when you're in front of somebody and you're interacting with somebody, pulling energy, like you can do it while you're talking to them. You don't have to ever stop pulling energy, but you choose to pull energy, but you don't have to stop doing it. But one thing is, that's where for me flirting is really useful, because it actually helps me pull even more energy from the people. So it's like, hi,
Hi. Ooh, hi. Hello. That's pulling even more energy. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, ooh, come to me. Okay. I don't often clock myself up. If you're in a restaurant and the waiter is ignoring you, pour massive amount of energy to the waiter, and the waiter will start coming to your table a lot faster. Okay, but don't make them wrong. If you, from the moment you start making somebody wrong, they feel it, they know it, and don't make yourself wrong either. I love how people think they can use the tools wrong. There's no way you can use the tools wrong. That's just not possible. Okay, so, you know what? The greatest, easiest way to flirt is to ask questions. When you ask somebody, hey, how are you doing tonight? Or, what are you having? Why are you here? What's going on with you? How was your day? Oh, where did you buy this dress? All of that. That's actually the easiest, simplest way of flirting. You're inviting them into your universe instead of trying to get into their universe.
And is there a question you can ask almost yourself before, like what question could I ask them that would raise them, or
Well, that's a great question. What question can I ask that would create more possibilities with that person? Or if you have done, this is for people who have done a lot of access classes, what energy, space, and consciousness can my body and I be to be the flirt with total ease? Or what energy, space, and consciousness can my body and I be that would allow me to be unforgettable with that person?
Oh, that's a good one.
I like that one.
Especially when you go to a job interview, or like you have a gig or like an audition or something like that. You want to be unforgettable. You want them to not be able to take you out of their mind.
Yes.
So when you ask, what energy, space, and consciousness can my body and I be? So you're inviting your body to be part of this. It's the energy, the space, because people are very attracted to space, and consciousness is the prima materia of anything you create. So in order to create something, you have to have consciousness. So you're asking consciousness to come and play with you. So what energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to be unforgettable for these people until they hire me? Right? Wow, that's going to create a whole lot of good stuff. And then if you after you say that question, if you feel like stuff is coming up, you say, anything that does not allow that, will I please uncreate and destroy it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nice, both shorts and beyonds. Okay. I want to say something. A lot of time I work with women that are afraid of the sexual attention that they get from people. So first of all, know that nobody can do anything to you unless you let them, okay? So if you really stay in your awareness, you will know if somebody is going to hurt you before they even approach around you. So you'll be able to walk away before they come, as long as you stay aware, okay? So nobody's going to hurt you. Second of all, there's nothing wrong with being lusted after, okay? What you do with that is up to you. But there's nothing wrong with being lusted after. It's not because somebody lusts after you that it affects you. Like I said before, it's not about you, it's about them, okay? So for all the women out there who have decided that it's wrong to be sexy or to be, to receive too much sexual attention, will you please uncreate and destroy all of that times a godzillion?
Yeah.
Whatever written bad fucking pardon, I suppose, shirts ambiance. Well, okay. I just brought up a little bit of stuff. But you know what? If you want to be able to clear this completely, you're going to have to come to my classes.
So mine keeps going back to what Tanya said about being in a small town or that kind of stuff, because I'm sure she's not the only one. So what would create more ease for someone like Tanya's, like, who is lusted after, or who is having ease being that flirty person in a small space or something. Sorry, that was like...
Okay, so I would like to clarify first that flirting actually does not necessarily include, does not always mean that there's something sexual in flirting. What I mean flirting is really being playful, not necessarily sexual. And I think the way Tanya described how she works with music, for me, that's flirting. So you're really being playful and being joyful with it. So first of all, the people that are flirtatious and are judged inappropriate is because they have decided that flirting always means sexual. It doesn't. So sometimes it does. Sometimes you can use it, and sometimes you are being flirtatious without being sexual. Now, remember, when you're being a different possibility, the people that would like to have that possibility in the world but are not choosing it are going to make you wrong for it. Okay? Because you're reminding them of what is possible for them that they're not choosing. Okay? So this is where you're going to have to be willing to be kind of a leader in your community. And if you perceive that that's the case, what can you invite them to that will allow them to start considering this choice? So it could be, you're having a potluck dinner at your house so they get to know you better. It could be that, you create a class or a performance or anything. So don't stop yourself because somebody is judging you. Ask, okay, what else can I create with this? What can I be? Who can I be that will create more ease, not only for me, but for them as well, right? Remember that you are highly aware, so you will perceive the lack of ease around this from others, but does it really belong to you? Okay? Mm-hmm. So always ask, if you're uncomfortable with something, is this mine or somebody else's? Okay? And finally, I have to say, this is going to sound really strange, but if you do it so big, much more beyond what is conceivable for these people, you will become so much space that they won't even be able to notice it anymore. So if you're willing to even do it even more, increase the volume so much that it's like, that's not possible. That's like beyond what they can imagine. They won't bother you because they won't see it.
And that's way more fun than hiding.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, yeah, I used to live in a small town too, and for a while I was being judged, and then I was like, I wonder what I can do about this. So I started hanging out with the women that were judging me, and it was fun because I was being even more me, and they stopped judging me really quickly because I was part of them now.
Oh, wow.
So there's all kind of things. People require so much, like very different things all the time. And the thing is, you are highly aware of what they require. So some people call it manipulation. I call it creation. When you give somebody something, an energy or attention that they actually need and want and require, when you give it to them, it will create more for them. So even if you don't really want to be nice to your stepmother or to your mother-in-law, be nice to your mother-in-law, because it will create more for her and for you. Right?
What would it take to be that energy of play and flirtation with your mother-in-law?
Yes, flirt with your mother-in-law and report. Report. I love it. Or flirt with your landlord, or flirt with, you know, with the people that are looking at your taxes. Energetically, you know, like you don't have to do it also face to face. You can flirt with people all the time energetically, right?
Yeah.
I flirt with my class participants way before they come to class. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Actually, I think I'm going to turn this into like a product, how to flirt your way through life, because this is really good stuff.
It is really good stuff. Actually, I have a friend that was about to get just like a parking ticket, and she was flirting with him, and like you said, there wasn't anything sexual about it. It was really like flirt and play and chatting, and just giving her like a warning. There was nothing else on.
And did she get out of the ticket?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was happier for it too. So like he got.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And I'm sure that he probably made love to his wife a lot better that night.
Probably.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, this is the other thing. I love to make people laugh, because when I make people laugh, people relax and they're usually kinder. But this also works when you're being really nice to people like government, you know, workers, the people that work for the government. Not many people are nice to them. So if you're like being really nice and smiley, you just made their day, and they're going to be nice to the next 10 people after you, which then will make their day. And then what are they going to do and create in the world? So sometimes choosing something that is not logical, or it's kind of like, oh, okay, I've got to be nice. Sometimes choosing something that your body actually really, really like would create so much more for the rest of the world. It's like domino effect.
Yeah. So we're getting to the end. Is there anything else you want to talk about that you're doing or that you're creating right now? Flirting with?
Well, okay, so I have so many classes that are happening in the next few months that I decided, you know, I need like a really simple way for people to find them. So all of the classes are now under createwithsophie.com. So if you type createwithsophie.com, you'll get all of the classes. So much easier. Kelowna. So May 16, we're going to be in Kelowna, and we're going to do this amazing, fantastic class. And do we have a subtitle for it yet? Or we just call it Right Voice for You right now, yes?
Voice for You right now.
So Right Voice for You, it's a whole day of playing with all these tools. The difference is that I actually get to work a little bit with your body. So energetically, I can find in your body places where you kind of like have locked something, and either give you the awareness of where you've locked it, or actually help you unlock it. And we get to play. So Cassie, I think the place where we're going to be at is a runway. Is that right?
Well, it's a studio, so it's a modeling agency, photographer, and a stylist. Opened up a studio in Florida, like downtown, and so they use kind of the space to do modeling, like to train the models to walk and that kind of stuff. So we're definitely going to set it up.
Woo! It's going to be so much fun. So here's what I'd like to encourage everybody who's watching this and considering either a class with me or another class in the future. If there's a weird, funky energy that comes up for you when we say this, all of that, would you ask, is this because I know what's possible for me that I'm not choosing yet? Or is it because it just doesn't work for me? Like, don't go to the conclusion that because something is funky, it doesn't work for you, but ask if it's an awareness that you're refusing to have right now. Okay, so yeah, we will have a lot of fun. For those of you, if you are in Vancouver, May 2nd, there's a movie screening. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but May 2nd is a movie screening of a documentary that Blossom has done about Right Voice for You. So if you want to get even more tools and have fun, don't go watch that movie. What else? What else? What else? Anyone in the world, thank you so much for joining us today. Cassie, Tanya, I adore you. You are phenomenal, ladies. And thank you so much for playing with me today and making this really fun and really easy. And I can't wait to play with more people. Woo! Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.